Hi Year 9, welcome to week 3 lesson for history. How had the Allied powers defeated the Axis powers by 1945 is our big question. But today we're looking at the importance of the Battle of Britain. So in your book or in a Word document, write down the title, how important was the Battle of Britain, and then write down these key words. Some of these are German, so the spelling's a bit tricky. So we've got the Luftwaffe, that's how you say that, and that means the German Air Force. We've got the RAF, which is British, and that's the Royal Air Force. That's where those letters come from. We've got Messerschmitts, which are German fighter planes. Hurricanes and Spitfires are British fighter planes. And then dogfighting is where those fighter planes, are fighting in the sky really close up to each other, and you can see a picture of that there on the screen. So pause the video, write the title and the date, underline those, and then the keywords with the definitions. Okay, pause the video on this screen, and can you remember the answers to these questions from the last 2 lessons? You don't need to write the full sentence, you can just write the answer. Okay, the Battle of Britain then in August 1940, let's find out about it. After Dunkirk, Hitler was master of Europe, apart from Britain and the USSR. The French had signed a forced armistice peace with Germany in June 1940. This gave Hitler a launch pad on the other side of the English Channel, which he needed to prepare to invade Britain. The plan for the invasion was called Operation Sea Lion, and his plan was to wound the British Air Force, the RAF, and wear down the people of Britain before launching a mass invasion. He planned to use the Luftwaffe to destroy British airfields and all their aircraft. The German bombers were protected by Messerschmitts that would shoot down any British Spitfires and Hurricanes. The Germans believed they had a good chance of destroying the British Air Force. Many of the British pilots hadn't received the training of their German counterparts. Germany had been training 800 pilots a month, Britain just 200. The Germans had 824 fighters and over 1,000 bombers in service. Many of them had experience in the recent Spanish Civil War compared to Britain's 591 fighters. It took only 5 minutes for the German aircraft to cross the Channel, but it took 15 minutes for British planes to take off and reach the height where they could intercept them. The air war that happened over the summer of 1940 is known as the Battle of Britain. Through August, the number of German attacks increased. German planes dropped bombs on airfields, radar stations, factories, towns and ports all over Britain. The RAF lost many planes. British pilots were exhausted by the constant fighting. Here are some questions on the slide that we've just looked at. So you might want to read the question 1 and then go back to the previous slide and then write down your answer to these. Source A at the bottom is a German source. And I'm going to read it to you to help you with question 5. A German intelligence report on the RAF in July 1940. The British aircraft industry produces about 180 to 330 fighters a month. It is believed that this output will decrease. Both the Hurricane and Spitfire are inferior, not as good, to the Messerschmitt. The Luftwaffe is clearly superior to the RAF as regards equipment, strength, training, command, and location of bases. So with source A, that one I've just read to you, that's question 5. Have a think about the questions that it is asking you there. So using the information on the previous slide, answer the questions on this slide. The picture you can see at the top is an air raid warden in London. You can see St Paul's in the background, and he is watching to see if a bombing raid is coming. So answer the questions using the information on the last slide and on this page too. Okay, in the video notes, there is a link to a YouTube video that has Churchill's speech on it. So pause this video, watch that one, then come back to this, and then answer the questions at the bottom. Okay, your main task for this lesson is to write a paragraph answering this question. So the statement says, the victory in the Battle of Britain was hugely important for Britain's war effort. How far do you agree? So how important do you think it was? How, particularly, two things you can think about morale, how people felt in Britain, and also the impact that it had making the Germans change their plans. So have a go at writing that paragraph, and that will be, please try and upload your answer to that onto Teams. That will be there as an assignment for you to upload. Here is an example paragraph, and this one you could have a look and see where the evidence is and the explanation. This will help you if you want to write your own one. And you can answer question 2. Are you persuaded by this argument? And finally, to consolidate, answer these questions from the lesson. Well done.